Good morning, great Americans. It's another great American video. We are only a handful of days away from the 1 year mark away from the 2026 elections, the midterm elections. I'm going to repeat the constant theme. I mean, we've done a lot of videos on a lot of different subjects, but we have a couple. And this is a continuation about our theme, which is stay the course. Stay the course. Trump has done more for America in less than a year to rebuild America, to make America great again, to seal the borders, to deport people who are here illegally, to fix trade, to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. I could just go down the list. I mean, this man has done so much in so little time, and the overarching thing over all of those things is that he has kept his promises, unlike any other president, including Republican presidents. And I dare say, including the great Ronald Reagan, who I love Ronald Reagan, and who's arguably the greatest president of the 20th century. I mean, Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump are definitely the top two greatest presidents of the modern, what should I say? I'll say the modern, the post-Civil War era. Donald Trump and Ronald Reagan are the two greatest presidents. Now, which one is greatest? We're not going to get into right now. The point is, we need to stay the course. Throughout this first year, too many conservatives have gotten wobbly in the knees and gotten nervous over one thing or another. It was either the tariffs, or maybe they felt he was going too far on the deportation, or whatever. But he's always proven to be correct. The tariffs have worked fine. Everybody thought he was going to destroy the economy. Everything's fine. Listen, we are in a civil war. Now, whether you think it's a cold civil war, whether you think it is now a hot civil war because the left has taken to murder, right? They tried to murder Trump 3 times. They murdered Charlie Kirk. They murdered the Catholic kids, murdered that young girl on the thing. They just tried to murder some ICE agents. These people are making the war hot. And now our side is trying to be cool and not escalate, but they are making the war hot. So whatever you think about, it is a civil war. Cold, for sure. Hot, on the borderline. You don't change, I remember at the 1988 Republican convention, George Bush, the old man George Bush, Ronald Reagan was leaving, and George Bush's thing that he said is, you don't change horses in the middle of a stream, right? You're crossing the river, it's dangerous, you're trying to get to the other side. Don't change horses. That was his case for saying, hey, you've been with Ronald Reagan for 8 years. Let's keep going. Don't switch horses in the middle of the street. That was his argument. And I mean, the argument makes sense on its face. How much it applied to him, I don't really know, because he was no Ronald Reagan, okay? But that argument certainly applies here, because not only is Trump keeping his promises and doing great things, and has done so many great things, it's just, unbelievable. Not only that, but we are in the middle of a civil war. And frankly, he's the only guy with any balls to fight it. I can't really think of any of the previous Republican candidates for president back in was it back in 2000? Or, I'm sorry, wait a minute. What am I saying? Um, the pre back in I'm sorry, back in 2016 or before, none of them would have had the balls to fight the Civil War the way Trump is. He's the only guy with the right policies and that rough. He's like George Patton. George Patton was arguably the greatest general that we had in World War II, and yet the establishment hated him. Okay, Eisenhower hated him, and they kept putting him down because of things he said. And this is so typical of they used him when they needed him, when they needed a good general to win, right? But after he won, they kept trying to squash him and put him in the closet because they didn't like his personalities. They knew he was the best general they had, but they didn't like him personally, and that stopped his rise beyond. I mean, he did become a 4-star general. There's not far to go after that, but still, that stopped his rise. My point is, we need to stay the course. We have 2026 elections coming up. The midterms are coming up in a year. Historically, the president loses seats in the midterms. We cannot let that happen. We have to bust the trend. We have to create a new tradition. We have to have more Republicans in Congress and more Republicans in the governorships. And not only that, need I remind you, and I shouldn't have to remind you, that the enemy in this Cold War is the extremist left and their representatives in Congress, which is the Democrat Party. Why on God's green earth would you elect the enemy of liberty, the enemy of freedom, the enemy of traditional American to sit in Congress? We've got too many of them in Congress already. They need to get out. These people need to get out. Listen, I've said this in my other Stay the Course videos, and I'm going to say it again. Whatever you did to help Trump get elected, because a lot of people put forth a lot of efforts to get Trump elected in 2024. Scott Presler was amazing. Elon Musk, I don't know if Trump would have got elected without Elon Musk getting rid of the fascists at Twitter and creating a free speech zone at X. I don't know what he would have done without that. Laura Trump, behind the scenes, created a movement that countered the ballot box stuffing movement of the left. Yes, they cheated again, but they were countered. That's like the untold story. Maybe I'll do some investigations about that and put that in my next video. That's a very important untold story. So there were several individuals who got out and just went above and beyond, and they got Trump elected. So my message to you for 2026 and 2028 also is whatever you did to help Trump get elected, maybe you donated, maybe you volunteered, made phone calls, sent out letters, knocked on doors, um, whatever it is that your thing was to help out. You need to quadruple those efforts in these midterms because we're in a war. And Trump's victory in 2024 was the first battle in the war, arguably. Okay. Or you could say it was 2016, and then we lost 20. You could say we won one battle and we lost one battle. But I think the war has now really begun in earnest. Although I think it began before. But for sure, we can say the war has really begun in earnest now. The true civil war for the heart of America and who controls America and what kind of America we are going to have. Are we going to have the America that we have always loved, of liberty and freedom, of goodness and righteousness, of or are we going to have what the left and the Democrats want? A Marxist socialist state where sick, degenerate sexual lifestyles are shoved down the throats of children, where Supreme Court judges don't even know what a woman or a man is, where they utterly destroy the human race by saying, oh, there's billions of genders and you're whatever you think you are, and it can't happen, right? So whatever you did, so we are in that battle now. And the next big battle is coming up. The big battle, well, frankly, the election boxes are the big battle. These are the battlegrounds for the Civil War. And unless you need to quadruple your efforts in 2026 and 2028, or else all the accomplishments that Trump has accomplished they're going to be lost. This is it, man. This is it. No Democrat can ever be allowed into the White House again because that will be the end. Everything that they're trying to accuse Trump of, being a fascist, being a dictator, destroying democracy, that's the stuff that Biden actually did. And you can bet your ass that another Democrat president will double down on all that. It can't be allowed. It simply cannot be allowed. Look at what we're seeing. Just look at the news. Not only all the murders by the left. I mean, the extremist left has gone into pure hot civil war mode. They're killing. That's it. They don't like what you say. They're killing you. That's the country we live in. And the ones that aren't killing are mobs in the streets attacking law enforcement. I never thought I would live to see the day when mobs of Americans literally went body to body attacking law enforcement while law enforcement was trying to carry out law enforcement duties. And of course, I'm speaking about ICE. ICE, you can call it ICE if you want, but it's law enforcement. They're police. They wear a badge. They arrest criminals. They're police. They're just federal police. They're federal law enforcement. Okay, their niche happens to be immigration, and that's their thing is immigration. But they're still just like the FBI, the ATF, the federal marshals at the federal level. At the state level, you have state police, you have the highway patrol, right? And at the local level, you have your police department and your sheriff's department. It's all police. It's all law enforcement. And we have literally have now have mobs of people defending criminals and attacking law enforcement physically. I never thought I would live to see the day. Anyway, that is the America of the left. They are trying to destroy America. Listen, there's a book. It's a little old now, still good, by Mark Levin called American Marxism. You want to read it? It will tell you all about the Marxists in America. They're a little bit different than the old Soviet Marxists. They got their own flavor, but they're still hardcore Marxists and what they are doing to overthrow it. And this is all part of it. No, I don't wear a tinfoil hat. I'm not crazy, man. There is a method to all this madness you're seeing, right? And the mobs in the streets, frankly, that are pulling the strings of the mobs in the streets that are attacking, they're off the hook, and their strings are being pulled by forces from above. So anyway, I'm kind of going off track a little bit. This video is a continuation of our theme to stay the course. I'm going to put 3 links in the description of this video, and basically those are the first 3 videos. Stay the course and how this has progressed in my thinking. But now we're at the point where we have to stay the course. Trump is promises made, promises kept. He has kept his promises. And frankly, he has fulfilled several promises that many Republican presidents made before but never actually pulled off. And frankly, there's one of them in the last term, having the American embassy moved to Jerusalem and recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel was a promise made by every president, but they were full of shit. They never intended to actually do it because they were cowards. And I hate to say that about the great Ronald Reagan, but on that one particular issue, he was wrong, man. I try to give him a little break because let's face it, he was a Cold War president, and he had, at that time, he was dealing with the Soviet Union, the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, the Cold War. He had some big fish to fry, so I give him a little break. But frankly, Trump has kept promises that other presidents have failed to do simply because of their own failings. Trump he, more than words, he has earned. Uh, there's a great line in the 10 Commandments with Charlton Heston, where Ramesses, he basically lies to his father Ramesses, and he says that Charlton Heston, or he says that Moses, Charlton Heston, he says that Prince Moses has been like plotting behind his back to sort of take over, right? And so Ramesses goes and visits where Moses is building this big city to honor Seti. I'm sorry. The father's name is Seti, Pharaoh Seti. Seti visits Ramesses, and he's going, like, hey, I've heard bad things about you. And Ramesses, and then Moses says, well, look for yourself. And he shows him the big city he's built in his honor and big, huge statues of Seti. And he says, behold, let these images proclaim my loyalty to you for all time to come, right? And Seti goes, he was just like amazed. He goes, that's outstanding. And then he turns to Ramesses, his son, and says, who would take by force that which he has earned by deeds. In my opinion, you have wrongly accused your brother. Who would take by force that which he has earned by deeds? That's Trump. Trump doesn't need to steal anything or destroy democracy or anything. He has earned by his deeds, by his promises kept. I mean, the man literally sealed the border in a month without one piece of legislation by Congress. Remember how that lying sack of shit, senile Biden says, oh, I can't do anything about it. I got to have Congress act. Trump proved with a capital P that Biden was a liar because Trump got in and he sealed that border. He sealed that border within a few weeks and it is still sealed. That's an analogy you really don't hear a lot about in the press, especially the fake news media, because he literally, if there was ever a time when a president proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that his opponent was a stone cold liar, it was when Trump got into office and he sealed that friggin' border, that southern border, within a month, all on his own, using the existing laws on the book, proving Biden was a liar when Biden said that he didn't have the power to seal the border and that he needed congressional action. It was just a lie, a total lie. Look, there's one law on the books, and it's the only law you need, and that is the law that says it is against the law to illegally, cross over the border. What other laws do you need? You're in the country illegally? We're deporting you. Why do you need more laws than that? So Trump has kept his word. He has earned our loyalty and our thanks by deeds, by keeping promises, and we need to repay that by making sure that we stay the course. Stay the course. Vote red in 2026 and vote red in 2028 by all means. We got 3 more years to make some videos for that. No Democrat can ever be allowed in the White House again. Ever. It can't be done. But more importantly, in 2026, to help him finish his agenda, he needs more and more and more Republicans in the House and in the Senate. And frankly, he needs more Republican governors because it certainly helps. It does not help. Like, look in California. What good are Trump's policies doing when you have a state governor like Newsom who actively works against them to thwart them? It's amazing that Governor Newsom is literally a traitor to his state. And frankly, I think he's a criminal and he should be placed under arrest for all sorts of criminal acts. The one most obvious is aiding and abetting, people in the country illegally. That's actually against the law. To aid and assist people who are trying to remain in the country illegally is in itself a violation of the law. The entire Democrat Party, frankly, are criminals. And so, anyway, that's it for today. I just really wanted to revisit the theme because with everything we've been seeing, all the videos I've been making, everything you've been seeing in the news, the mobs in the streets, the murders, the assassinations, this whole thing about Gaza and the Palestine, people siding with listen. Oh, I'm going to throw one other thing before I close because I just have to say this. I never get around to saying this in any video, and there is no fucking genocide going on in in Gaza. I'm so sick of hearing that word come out of people's mouth. Oh, there's a genocide. There's a there is no fucking genocide going on. The only genocide we've ever seen in our recent memory is when the fascists tried to kill all of the Jews in Europe. And the fucking pieces of shit in Gaza also want to kill all the Jews. And it hasn't been that long since they attacked Israel and killed a bunch of Jews. And Israel is just fighting back. Israel is sick and tired of having its women and children murdered and terrorized decade after decade after decade. And they finally said, we're going to take out the enemy. There is no genocide in Gaza. There is no Palestine. The state of Palestine is a fantasy. And those European leaders and the Australian leader who are recognizing Palestine are fucking ignorant pieces of shit who have no clue about reality and who are bowing down to a fascist mob. And they make me sick to my stomach. They really do. Israel is and always has been, since the very beginning, fighting for its very existence. Since the very beginning of the creation of the state of Israel, everybody who surrounds Israel has wanted to destroy it. And they've made many attempts, many attacks, many wars since 1940, since the 1940s when it was created. Many wars, but for the grace of God, that tiny little country actually won them all. And then after that, just year after year after year of terrorist attacks from the so-called Palestinian Authority, or before that, it was called the Palestine Liberation Organization under, what was that idiot's name? Wow, what was that guy's name? I can't forget his name. And then all these other terrorist groups, Hamas and Hezbollah, funded by Iran. You've got Hamas, Hezbollah, the Palestinian Authority, and all these terrorist groups who for years and years and decades have been trying to destroy the Jews and destroy the Palestinian state. I mean, and destroy the Jewish state. And then now Israel says, you know what, man, we've had enough. We've had enough. We are not going to continue to allow our women and children and our people to be terrorized and murdered in their own backyards year after year after year. Israel gave Gaza to those people. And now they're going to take it back because the people in Gaza proved that all they can do, the only thing apparently they know how to do is be terrorists. They can't create anything. They can't do anything worthwhile. They don't contribute anything to mankind or the human race or the great. They don't do a fucking thing except act like animals and beasts and terrorize. And Israel said, fuck it. We're through with it. And we're taking them out. That's not genocide. Okay, if you think Israel is making genocide in Gaza, then not only are you one dumb motherfucker, and not only are you a sorry piece of shit, but you are on the side of the Nazis and the fascists, and you're too stupid to fucking know it. And that's the bottom line on that. So just a little quick going off topic right there, but I had to throw that out. I'm just sick of hearing that shit. But anyway, but back to the thing. But to tie that in with the theme, these are also the people we are fighting against in the Civil War, and they cannot be allowed to sit in the White House again. So that's it. That's the theme. Put that hashtag in all your social tweets. Stay the course. Stay the course. Vote red in 2026. Get out. I know that midterms are not as exciting and as presidential elections, and that's why the tradition is that a president loses seats during the midterms, because they're just people aren't motivated. I'm telling you to get motivated. Get motivated. Look at what you see on the TV screens, the mobs, the attacks on police, the murders, the insanity against children in schools with the grooming and the porn in the school and everything. And then these Hamas terrorist supporters of every which way you look at the Democrats, no matter which way you look at them, they are the enemy of liberty and freedom. And Trump has kept his promises to America, and he has earned our loyalty with deeds. Get out, get the vote out, vote red in the 2026 midterm elections, and then of course we're going to vote red in 2028. Not sure what's going to happen there. But that's it for today. Thank you very much. Please like and share the video, and I will see you in the next great American video. Adios, muchachos.